Folks, welcome back to Nostalgianomics. Today we're going to try to put an end to all of the ridiculous speculations surrounding the Scarlet Violet illustration rares. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these bad boys. That's right. All the illustration rares so far in the Scarlet Violet era. I've heard everything from it's all manipulation like we always hear to once everyone starts grading them, the prices are going to crash. Once the reprints come, the prices are going to crash. No one actually likes these. That's why they're not grading them. Everyone's still grading Sword and Shield era or special illustration rares. They just haven't gotten to these cards yet. All of these people, they may just not know what they're talking about. They may just be talking out of their ass, or they may just be that clueless. But anyone who grades cards for a living, which that's partly what I do, does not care if they like the cards or don't like the cards. And they're definitely not too busy grading Sword and Shield or other cards to grade illustration rares. The real reason you're seeing very low population reports on illustration rares and very few available on the market is because you can't find the dang things to grade. It is almost impossible to find a 10-worthy card, a gem mint or pristine worthy illustration rare in the wild. I mean, guys, I open this stuff all the time, every single week. Almost every illustration rare I pull out of a pack, it's off center, it's got whiting, the borders are chewed up, whatever it may be. It's got print lines. It's almost impossible to find these things 10 worthy. And so that's the main reason these things are so expensive, is because they're valued on the scarcity and the rarity of the grade. It's not that the cards are so rare, which they are kind of rare. I'm going to prove that to you in a second. But it's because the condition rarity is something that people do chase in this hobby. And because there are so few available, they have value. And so we're going to jump into all that in a second, guys. I do have to shout out today's video sponsor first. It's going to be Arizona TCG. Guys, look, if you're wanting someone to sell all these PSA, BGS, CGC cards for you, you don't want to do all the work yourself, Arizona TCG is a great option. They're very transparent on their fees. It's only 13.5%, which is basically what it costs you to sell it yourself on eBay. If it's under $100, they do charge you a $5 shipping fee, which again is basically what it's going to cost you to ship the card out yourself if you sell it yourself on eBay. They even provided this handy calculator, which actually lets you know exactly what your cards will go for based on the pricing you estimate, what you're going to get selling it yourself on eBay, and what you're going to get selling for them selling it for you, which in this case, you would actually get more having them do all the work for you. So make sure to check out Arizona TCG if that's something you need, guys. The link will be in the description in the comments section below. All right. So first, we're going to talk about the rarity of these cards. So in Paldea, right, the Magikarp, the Tyranitar, the Raichu, those things, all the illustrations, right, they're all 1 out of 13 packs, which isn't rare in and of itself. But because Paldea is so stacked with the amount of illustration rares it has, it's actually more like 1 in 468 packs to pull that specific illustration rare you want. I can tell you it is that hard. We just pulled a Magikarp on one of my box break streams, but we went through like over 2 cases of Paldea to actually pull that Magikarp, which is hundreds and hundreds of packs. It's probably near 468 packs. So they actually are that rare. Now, when you get to Paradox Rift, they're a little easier to pull because there's not as many hits, but it's still 1 in 442 packs. And then when you get to Twilight Masquerade, there's not as many IRs. And so it's actually not as rare. And so that Eevee is one card you could argue that's a little overhyped right now and could come down. However, the Greninja is actually that rare. Those SIRs are 1 out of 86 packs, and the Greninja's 1 in 941 to pull that specific one. So yeah, that's like alt art, if not more rare than alt art style rarity. That actually could be somewhere near properly valued. Maybe it could drop. Maybe it's a little overhyped, but that's definitely a 100 plus, if not $200 plus card because of the rarity. But we're not talking about Greninja. We're talking about the illustration rares. So brings me to the next point, the population reports. Here's Paldea Eval's population reports, right? So a lot of people point to this and say, Alex, there's only 200 graded. There's only, 155, 191 graded. Here's the Magikarp. See, this is a card people actually want, so that's why there's more graded. So the only reason that none of these are graded is because people just don't care about the card. Again, this Heracross is very cheap raw. This Meryl is very cheap raw, okay? Only 21 10s exist out of 191. right? The Heracross, only 42 10s exist out of 219. You're going to tell me when people can buy these cards for $10, sub $10, a little over $10, and they can take a $200 gain on it, Heracross, they can sell the card for $200. You're telling me that because they don't like the card, they're not going to make the play if the cards are out there gradable? That's the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever heard. Don't kid yourself. People would be grading these cards in groves if they had the opportunity. The truth is, you cannot find these cards in the wild. They are rare. 1 in 400 plus packs for these illustration rares, that is rare, right? Going from a $10, $20 card, if not sub $10 card, to a $180, $200, $220 card, that's, I don't know, a 10x, 20x your money. That's something every card grader who runs a card grading business or who does this on the side for a side hustle would be doing if they could find the cards, all right? That's why you see population reports blow up of things like the Umbreon VMAX and other alt arts and other special illustration rares. It's because people see the value, they see the returns they can get, they see the margins, they go out in the, in the market and they find tons of copies that they deem are PSA 10 or Beckett Pristine, Beckett Black Level worthy, and they buy them and send them in the mass. The only reason people would not be sending these in the mass is not because they're so rare, right? They're rare. They're 1 in 400 plus packs, but that's not crazy rare. They're out there, right? It's because they're not gradable when they find them, which makes the condition rarity of them so worthwhile and so sought after that it pushes these prices up to where they are. So no, these cards are not overvalued. Now look, the brand new stuff like the Eevee, sure, it's getting ran up. But all these other illustration rares, they're not overvalued. They're not manipulated. It's not buyout. They're that scarce. Now, the last argument is, Alex, once reprints come, these are going to get pounded down, get taken down to Pound Town by Chuck Norris. But let me throw you a little scenario. If Pokemon does reprint them, we don't know every set's going to get reprinted. So that's your first hurdle. Second, if the next reprint is better quality and if good enough quality to have these cards grade better. Your third hurdle is going to be if the pull rates are exactly the same, they print the same amount of everything, all that good stuff. And so you have a lot of hurdles. There's a lot of ifs of if all of these things go right, then there will be more copies to grade at a higher PSA 10 rate. So it will push the prices down because they'll be more widely available. But they would have to be so much more widely available. The print quality would have to be so much better. There would have to be so many more graded copies come to the market to quench the demand of the amount of people that want to collect these to really have a drastic difference on the price. And so I want to caution everyone in thinking that all of these illustration rares are overvalued in PSA 10s and they're all going to come crashing down. We could see corrections if Pokemon does massive reprints, if the print quality is good, if all the hit rates are the same. 100% we could see corrections. But there are some ifs. There are some bets you could take, and you could see these things actually continue to spike to the moon if we don't get reprints on some of these sets. If the reprints come, but they're small reprints. If the quality is still bad on the illustration rares and you still can't find PSA 10 candidates in the wild, this could actually have a reverse effect if people say, okay, well, now the reprints are here. We still can't find gradable copies. I better stock up on any PSA 10 to get a hand on. Then you'll see auctions come out and you'll see the cards go for $300, $400, $500 when they used to go for $200 because now people are in panic mode and FOMO mode. So I caution you jumping the gun thinking things are overvalued, manipulated, all that good stuff on these just because they're maybe unpopular Pokemon. They're not the top rarity. They're not the greatest and best card ever made. Condition rarity is a thing, and there are completionists, there are collectors of all these artworks, and at the end of the day, if the supply is not there and all of us card graders can't increase the supply because it's just not available, we could definitely see prices continue to rise. Not trying to create FOMO. All I'm saying is don't write off the price points of these illustration rares too soon. Now, again, the brand new stuff like the Eevee, it's not as rare as the other illustration rares. It's probably just being pumped because Twilight Masquerade's getting scarce because, Sympathy with the Greninja and some of the other pulls in the set. I don't expect the EV to hold, you know, $50, $60, $70 price points forever. And by the way, by the time this video comes out, which I'm recording it early, they might have already come back down to earth. But definitely the ones that have already been released for 3, 6, 9, 12 months, I wouldn't expect to see massive corrections on the PSA 10s unless all those things go right. So take it for what you will, guys. I just wanted to put a video out there to kind of set the record straight on what's going on and why things are happening. I hope it helps you, and I hope I hope some of you own some of these cards because it's a fun time to own some illustration rares, right? And also anyone grading these, best of luck. I hope you get some 10s. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'll be back here in a new video soon. I'm out.